Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, I want you to focus on the sound of my voice, but also on everything around you. The temperature in the room, the speed, the pace of your breathing. I want you to focus on any sounds. Maybe there's sound of people or a breeze, background noise, maybe a ticking clock in the room. Just focus your attention on my voice plus any other sounds that you can hear. And then perhaps any other sensations. The feeling of clothes on your skin. The feeling of your body pressure on the chair. While simultaneously breathing in and breathing out. Accepting the idea that you're breathing in something resourceful and exhaling tension, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine an archery field. I want you to imagine looking at archers aiming their arrows at a target maybe 20, 30, even 40 meters away. Maybe you can see there is a black outer ring. There may be a yellow inner ring. And then imagine a red bullseye right in the middle. I want you to get a sense that one of these archers is just pointing it in the general direction and hoping it gets close. And as he releases the arrow, just see that it gets nowhere near the target. And then see another archer. And that archer is aiming for the board. And I want you to see that when the arrow is released, it goes through the air. And then maybe it hits the black outer ring, but at least it's on the board. And then I want you to see another archer. And that archer is aiming for that red bullseye. They release the arrow, it flies through the air. And it gets close to it, it hits the yellow middle ring. And then there's the final archer. And they're not aiming for the bullseye. They are aiming for an imaginary dot right in the center of that bullseye. A pinprick size dot in the middle of a bullseye, meters and meters away. And then see their focus so intently on that tiny imaginary dot inside the red bullseye. Flies through the air, and the arrow hits the bullseye. It doesn't hit the imaginary pinprick dot in the middle, but it gets close to it. And I want you to accept the idea that when you have vague intentions, you get vague results. And when you have specific intentions, you get specific results. Snipers and archers have a mantra. Aim small, miss small. And I want you to think of all those things in your life that you're naturally intentional before you do them. Some people, when they're going out to buy things, they know exactly what they want to buy, and they increase the likelihood of buying what they actually need. Other people just go shopping and see whatever catches their eye, and normally they buy things that aren't useful, they don't need, and they don't end up using. I want you to accept the idea that intentions help improve decisions. Think back in your life to those moments that you know that to be true. And then accept the idea that you can be intentional without taking away any fun, any enjoyment. And from this point forwards, I want you to imagine that whenever you decide to drink alcohol, and that may be fewer and fewer times, but when you do decide to drink alcohol, there will be a set number of drinks that will represent the bullseye. And if you know the number of the drinks and the type of drinks, and roughly when you're going to be drinking them, that becomes the tiny pinprick sized dot in the middle of that bullseye. Perhaps you could have the suggestion that you could always choose to have another drink if that is offset by drinking twice the quantity in water. So a glass of wine would be the equivalent of drinking 2 glasses of water. The slower you drink, the more you're able to enjoy your drinks. And I want you to imagine you're staring into what looks like a big movie screen, seeing a future version of you, being intentional about how you want to drink at a very specific place or with people. Maybe people that you're worried that you might fall into the trap of drinking too much. But I want you to see that future version of you being intentional, drinking slowly, drinking water in between drinks. And I want you to get a sense that your worries disappear when you imagine that version of you is the one spending time with friends or celebrating or enjoying social events with other people. You naturally feel more in control of your alcohol consumption. And when you choose to drink less, you're able to savor each moment more deeply. You have a desire to drink more slowly, and that aligns with your inner calmness, allowing you to enjoy the taste and experience fully. The idea just stays in your mind. Less is more. And water becomes your refreshing companion between alcoholic drinks, hydrating your body and enhancing your sense of well-being, but giving you also a wonderful feeling of being in control. The intention to limit yourself to however many drinks you decide feels like a powerful bullseye on a target, motivating you to hit the mark. And as you approach your target of that many drinks, a sense of accomplishment and self-pride fills you, reinforcing your determination. You cultivate an unwavering focus on your goal of drinking less, confidently resisting any urge for excessive consumption. I want you to imagine that any more than your limit feels like how you would feel if a car is going too fast and it needs to slow down, this urge to put the brakes on. Feel this urge to put the brakes on your drinking as you near your target. And if you go beyond your target, you feel a sense of peace the moment you stop. These breaks are to keep you safe. That's what happens in a car, that's what happens now when it comes to your drinking. Your self-esteem blossoms with each successful evening of you drinking less. You take pride in your ability to make conscious choices. When you do drink, you'll have a desire to sip your drink slowly and mindfully, deepening your connection with the present moment, feeling more alive and aware and in control. And the desire to maintain a healthy balance guides your decisions. As you gracefully navigate any peer pressure with ease, treating it like a game, like being a secret spy. You're drinking less and nobody even realizes because you're discreet and respectful. Having a selection of things that you can say to politely and assertively say no to any excessive drinks that you don't want. You're not a teenager at a party. No one can pressure you to drink. You decide, and no one else, what you drink, when you drink, how much you drink, and even if you drink. And every time you say no, or not now, or maybe later, you're creating powerful boundaries that keep you safe and keep you in control. You honor and respect your body. Your self-awareness grows, helping you recognize the moments when is the ideal time to stop. And whatever your target number of drinks, you'll have an urge to spread them evenly over the evening, enabling you to enjoy the moment but not spoil the moment, as you accept the idea that every drink after your target starts taking away your pleasure and introducing problems, hangovers and headaches, blackouts and recklessness. Your target is the sweet spot. Anything more than that starts taking pleasure away from you, which is why the breaks come on. You drink more water, and you decide when the evening ends. With each and every day, your commitment to drinking less becomes stronger, and your sense of pride and empowerment amplifies as you embrace this healthier, more balanced lifestyle. Whatever country you're in, whatever people you're around, you are still you, and you decide your intentions, your boundaries, and what you will do to put the brakes on once you pass whatever your target is. Breathing in and breathing out, and then feeling like you're returning to the present, but taking this ability and desire to be intentional, to unlock the resources, to set boundaries, set parameters, to be the person you want to be now and in the future. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully now in the present, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.